Over the years, we've looked at many large and effective scams that are damaging many people's finances. These episodes have generated a lot of interest, and they're still very relevant today. So, for today's podcast, we've put together the best advice from each one. Enjoy.
This is Debt Free in 30. Here's your host, Doug Hoyes.
So, today we're going to talk about scams.
This is not a how-do class.
No. This is not a how to do them. This is how to avoid them. We're not here to teach people to commit fraud.
Right.
So what I'm going to do is go through some different scams, and some of these people are going to go, oh yeah, I've heard of that. And others, it's going to be like, I never heard of that one. And I think by shining a light on them, we can hopefully help people go avoid them. So a couple are maybe not scams, but I'm going to put them in the scam category.
Right.
And that is really high interest loans.
You just want to talk about payday loans.
Yes, because
you want to get me going.
It's 2020 and we have not addressed payday loans yet in 2020. So the big problem with payday loans, of course, is wickedly expensive.
And there's no way to get off the treadmill. Once you get in with these guys, they take your money every paycheck, and then you got to borrow again, and you just keep doing it over and over and over again.
So the first one I have on my list here is the renter scam. So what are we talking about with a renter scam?
So that type of scam is looking after the opportunity with the scarcity of housing market, affordable housing. And it's going out, putting an ad, trying to get incite some appetite from renters to be able to, look for housing. And then, so these people who are looking at finding a suitable apartment, they might reach out to them, and the person who is pertaining to be the homeowner or the building management is going to say, well, you know what, there's a high demand. I want to make sure that you're serious about this. Send me a deposit and I'll hold it for you. And then you can come and schedule a visit later on. So this is pretty simple, right? So then you think, great, I'm going to secure my spot to go and visit the apartment. You send possibly $500. And when you show up, the apartment's not for rent, or they don't know anything about it, and then you lost your money. So that's one version of it.
Scammers are becoming increasingly sophisticated. Mm-hmm. You probably know this, and they're using not only all the technology, but also emotional manipulation combined with some advanced AI techniques that we're going to talk about to dupe victims into making large financial decisions. And you know what happens when you spend a ton of money that you don't have? You get into debt. Right. And that's why we talk about debt on this show. So
there's also another one that kind of came up recently, and it's an email, usually an email or a text. And it says, we've changed the way that we're accepting funds now. So some cases, some people might still pay their rent with check. And they're saying, or even if it's e-transfer, they'll say, instead of sending the money to this email address, here's another email address since we've changed management company. And then, so the tenants are sending their monthly rent to someone else. And then all of a sudden you get the landlord saying, you haven't paid rent in a couple of days, or you're behind for a week. And that's where it kind of unfolds. And then the person's out of the money, unfortunately.
So let's put the payday loans behind us. The next tier of those guys is their high interest installment loans. Let me highlight those to people too. So payday loan is a short term, you get it for 2 weeks, you repay it. The installment loans, you're paying, well, most of them are 49% interest, and you pay them back over 3 to 6 months. That's just insane.
Yeah, and they can be up to 60% because that's what the criminal code says, and that is a massive amount of interest.
Right.
And so why do people get those kind of loans then?
Well, so the first is they get sucked into these payday loans, and then it's, well, we can help you relieve the pressure by getting one of our bigger installment loans. And just about everyone we see that has an installment loan has gone back to get a subsequent payday loan from the same people.
Yeah, and the reason they're getting the loans in the first place, you and I talked about this on our year-end predictions podcast, is expenses.
Right.
People's expenses to live are a lot higher than, well, they're going up faster than what their income is.
The old joke was you run out of money before you run out of month.
A while ago, I published an article on Hoyes.com titled, "Please Don't Pay for Consumer Proposal Representation." And shortly after that article was posted, we got a message on our Hoyes Michaelis Facebook account from a guy who said he used a debt consultant and he wasn't sure if he got a good deal or not. He wanted me to check it out.
Right.
Now, the debt consultant he used wasn't the same company we mentioned in the blog post, and I'm not going to tell you what company it was because that's not the point. There's lots of them out there. The point of today's show is to give everyone listening today an insider's view of how these debt consultants operate, so you're now going to hear how it actually happens.
Excellent.
First time this has ever happened on the show. Now, this guy had around $45,000 in unsecured debt, so credit cards and a bank loan. He didn't have any mortgages or a car loan, but he was not making great money at his job, and he was getting behind, so he wanted help. So let's play the interview. I started by asking him, how did he look for help?
So you start seeing these Facebook ads, and I don't know how Facebook is doing it these days with targeting these things, but I was Googling different consultants, trustees. I was trying to figure out what the heck I'd do to get started. And then the one that kept popping up on my Facebook page, one that just kept popping up, it looked very, very friendly and approachable, and we're on your team, we're on your side. And so I just did the send message link, even I think it was through Facebook, and that started a whole process after that.
The first one is the granny scam.
Right.
And this has been going on for like forever.
Mm-hmm.
Not a new thing. So under the old version, you get a text from your grandchild saying, "Hey, granddad, grandma, I need some money. My car broke down. I'm away at college and I need money for a plane ticket," or whatever
the reason is. Yep.
That was a text.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they used to do it. Well, now the new version is, because we've got, AI voice cloning technology, which is actually pretty simple to use. Right. So now the scammer is actually phoning you and saying, "Hi, I'm your granddaughter. Can I have money?" They tend to target the elderly.
Right.
First one I got on my list here, advance fee loans.
Oh, yeah, these things are great. And years ago, when people read newspapers, you used to go in the classified section and they'd do these little ads that say, "Bad credit, don't have problems getting a debt or getting a loan, guaranteed we'll get you a loan. $500 fee." You pay the $500 fee, they call you a week later and say, "I'm sorry, we weren't able to get you a loan," and they refund you $100 for your trouble. They never actually tried to get you a loan in the first place. So this worked great with the newspapers. Nobody understood them, and it was this little sideline. Now it's getting to be big business. So you see these ads, they pop up on your screen, or if you're still reading a newspaper, on the newspaper, and it's all the same. It's bad credit, we can help you get a loan, but you got to pay us a fee first.
And so how do you protect yourself from this?
Well, so the first time anybody ever asks you for a fee before they actually do anything should be a huge red warning flag. You just say, "This doesn't make any sense. Why would I pay you until I know I've actually purchased the service from you, that I'm going to get this thing?"
Yeah, and it's same in our business. If someone says we can settle your debts, but you got to pay a fee up front, then that's a big
get up and
flag.
leave the room.
Because it's we do not charge upfront fees because, number one, it's unethical, and number two, it's illegal. First meeting with them, and that's where they gather the information. Who do you owe money to? Is that how it works?
Yeah, so I came prepared. I brought in my statements. I knew that certain cards I have already canceled, but we're still paying. Certain cards are still active. And I came in with all my ducks in a row, really. I provided the statements, so it was very easy for them to just take the balance, take the credit name, give me my driver's license information, so they have my address.
And how many meetings did you have with them?
I believe it was only two until I started meeting with other trustee people, actual trustee people.
Okay, so you met with them, gave them some information, came back, gave them some more information, and then at what point did it become clear that there was going to be somebody else involved? There was going to be a trustee involved in this?
Essentially, in both meetings, they mentioned, "Oh yeah, we'll find somebody to put this through. We'll find somebody," and then they did say that they weren't trustees. But again, I'm thinking, well, maybe it's a service, it's a coaching service. Maybe they have a really great trustee. I don't know, in their back pocket. And again, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, it's not going to cost me that much because I'm already in debt. And I'm thinking, I just need a resolution. I'm willing to pay something, I suppose, if they make it easier or they get me that hidden deal or the hidden best trustee in the world.
And it is illegal in Ontario to request an upfront fee prior to obtaining a loan.
Right.
So when you go to the bank, they don't charge you an upfront fee.
When you go to a payday loan company, you don't pay them $20 to borrow the money.
Yeah. So if even the payday loan companies aren't doing it, then then you know it's an issue. Okay.
Right.
This one is, I find, fascinating. It is called the pig butchering scam.
All right, nice name.
It has nothing to do with pig butchering, but it's a type of online fraud where scammers build long-term relationships with victims,
Right.
often through things like social media or dating apps or messaging platforms. They kind of gain their trust before convincing them to invest money in fake schemes.
Right.
Often crypto.
There you
And
go.
you're a huge crypto guy, so we know that's your favorite thing.
Mm-hmm.
The term comes from the idea of fattening up the victim like a pig with flattery, affection, or promises of wealth before slaughtering them by taking their money.
Gotcha.
So
Lovely.
here's the pattern, and this is the long con.
Yep.
Okay. Remember that movie with Robert Redford where he was the con guy?
The Sting?
The Sting. There you go. I believe the last few episodes you have referenced
Movie. I've been doing a lot of movie references
movies
lately.
from 30 years
My
ago.
teenagers are finally old enough to appreciate old films.
There you go. So yeah, The Sting was a long con.
Right.
That's what this is as well. It's not like I'm going to send you a text and pretend I'm your grandchild and you're going to send me money that time.
Right.
This will be something that will unfurl over perhaps many months.
Mm-hmm.
So it starts with the setup. So the scammer initiates contact with you and they, pretend they're either a friendly person or I'm a successful individual. I'm a business person.
Yep.
Maybe they're going to be a romantic interest, a business, whatever it is.
Right.
Offering some mentorship, and then they build trust. So again, it's over a long period of time. They nurture the relationship, regular communication. Hey, how you doing? Good to talk to you, whatever. Oh, by the way, I made $1 million in crypto last week. Oh, okay. That's interesting. And then they give you the pitch. I got this lucrative investment for you. Oh, this is a good one. And they will often go to the point of creating a fake website.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Do the whole 9 yards.
Oh, yeah. And how hard is it to create a website?
Not very.
Not very hard. Like you and I can't do it, but we got people who are very good at it. So you put up a website that explains how this whole thing works.
And I assume they're doing this to more than one person at a time too. The more elaborate it gets, right?
Get some leverage. Yeah. If I'm going to create the website for you, I'm going to use it on other people. And then here's my impressive returns. Look at where I bought the crypto, and this is how much I made. And so then we say, look, why don't you just put in $100? Let's see how it goes.
And then you just keep up there.
And just keep it going from there. And so then once you got them hooked, step 4 is the drain, where you pressure them. Okay, look, you made money on that $100. And if I was doing a scam, I'd get you to invest $100.
Yep.
And 2 weeks later, I'd pay you back $150. Look, you made 50%.
Which
Fantastic.
is what they do.
That's how it works. So the scammer, and again, you got your fake dashboards and everything to show how much money you're making. And then, of course, the final step, the old rug pull, the exit, where you try to cash out all this money you put in.
And there's nothing there.
Oh, sorry, the platform's gone, the website's gone, we're out of there. And so, again, this is, highly insidious because it's exploiting emotional vulnerability and so on. And often these people are not in Canada who are doing these things.
Of course not.
They're all over the place.
When you reached out to the debt consultant, and you had done some research and whatnot.
So I knew what options are out there for people who go bankrupt.
Right.
I thought maybe going there I might get a fifth option or something, thinking, oh, maybe I don't have to do proposal or bankruptcy at all. So that was actually part of the idea. But of course, there's no service outside of that, really.
Yeah, and that's why what I was getting at is why didn't you go directly to a trustee? And I guess the answer is, well, I understood that option, but I thought there was some other option.
Of course, I thought this was the be all end all. It's a flashy website, it's a flashy service they have. Apparently, it appears no fee or appears low fee, and maybe there's a fifth option because they always say we go over every option out there, and we go over. But in reality, when you look at it, and after talking even with you a little bit and just Googling, there's really only like 3, maybe 4 options depending on your situation. I don't have a house or a mortgage, so it's not something I can leverage. But it's proposal, it's bankruptcy, maybe it's debt management, but there's really no savings. So it's tough because you think there's a fifth option out there.
And
there's totally not.
So the pitch is we're going to loan you money.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the term, you will actually have money. So that's why it's called a savings loan. So unlike other loans where we give you the money up front, we're actually going to give you the money at the end, but it will report to the credit bureau. So your credit rating will improve. That's the pitch.
That's the whole idea.
And
okay, I kind of get that because, 5 years from now, I want to buy a house, I want to buy a car, I need to get my credit rating up, and I don't qualify for anything because my credit is bad, so how else can I do it? So I go to a place like this, and the example we've got, it was a payment of $55 bi-weekly over 3 years.
$110 a month.
So walk me through what this $1,750 loan cost.
So it's important to remember that number, folks, because at the end of the day, they're telling you that you're going to walk away with $1,750. And so every month, again, you're going to pay that, $55 every 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. And how long are you going to be paying that?
3 years. So that would come to $4,297.67.
Right. So is anybody concerned yet?
I'm concerned because right off the top of my head, 4,000 sounds a lot bigger than 1,750.
Right. It doesn't make any sense. And here's where the money goes. There's a $550 setup fee.
Cool.
So to get into the program, we got to charge you a fee. There's interest on the actual debt. Now this is $676 for 3 years worth of interest on money. That's not a bad number. The problem is it's not the only cost, and it's really they're just throwing it in there because they can.
Yeah, and the interest rate, according to their documents, the APR is 39%, and you're not borrowing $1,750. You're borrowing $1,750 plus the $550 setup fee.
Plus.
Well, tell me about the plus.
All right, so there's also a loan protection fee.
A loan protection fee.
Because if you can't make your payments, then they'll cover the payments for you. And then there's a credit monitoring fee. So we can actually make sure that this is being reported properly on your credit, which is the service that we're selling you in the first place.
So what they do, of course, is they create a sense of urgency. Right? This is the emotional manipulation part of it. There's an emergency, it's a family member, whatever. And that emotional tug, it makes it a little harder to resist it.
Sure. And your defenses are naturally down too.
Yeah, it's my kid, my grandkid, whatever.
Yep.
And what am I supposed to do to protect myself from this kind of thing?
Well, so at any stage of this process, you can be questioning the validity or the veracity of anything that you're being told. So the setup, I guess, unless you're a suspicious person, somebody reaches out to you and they start trying to establish a relationship with you. I don't know how suspicious you need to be. At this point, they're just trying to get to know who you are, right?
Yeah, someone wants to talk to you. I guess you talk to them.
Yeah, and the building trust is just an extension of that. It's when they make the pitch that you've got to be, okay, well, check original sources. They say this is working. Try to find some kind of verification independent of them that it really is real.
So I guess the first warning sign then is dollars.
At some point, they're going to ask for money.
Right. And so if someone's just being friendly with you, okay, well, it doesn't cost me anything. I'm happy to chat. But so as soon as somebody is asking for money, that's when the alarm bells go off. And then so checking original sources. So, okay, I've got this great crypto trading strategy, and whatever the coin is, it doubled last week.
Right.
How do you verify that? Like what are the kind of things you would do?
But they're able to use AI to trick you. You can probably use AI to dig into their background. Right? So you could simply, okay, tell me everything you can about this and what does it look like? And most of them are smart enough to say, oh, that's a typical AI scam of.
That's an excellent point. Use it against them.
Right.
So, and, I've got a bunch of different AIs that I use, and, everyone's got them now. There's some you pay $20 a month or whatever. Some are cheap or whatever. But that's an excellent point that, okay, so you've got this crypto coin that you've never heard of before.
Right.
And of course, you're getting in on the ground floor. That's why you've never heard of it.
And you're going to make a great return because you're getting in on the ground floor.
Well, okay, you can certainly look up what the price of that crypto is trading for and see the history.
Right.
And if you can't find it, it probably is a really sketchy one.
Right.
But I like the idea of using AI to research it and find out. 17% of all consumer proposals filed that year had the debtor paying an unlicensed debt consultant a fee for advice. 17%.
And that's understated.
Yeah, that's what they knew about.
Those are the people that disclosed on the form, have you received advice before you talk to your trustee?
Right. So there were clearly more than that. This is the base number. So that was about 9,660 files by my math. The average fee paid was $2,400. So this is $2,400 to refer you to somebody to actually do the work. So you do the math, that's over $23 million in fees paid in 1 year for advice to unlicensed, unregulated debt consultants. Well, it's no wonder they exist.
Right.
That's huge money. I'm always getting emails. Your account this, please click here, please click there, please click whatever. CRA scams are very common. Are you still seeing them? And if so, what are we supposed to do about them?
I think we're always going to see them. I mean, this one is easy. If you think about, if you want to target an audience where you're going to get a very, you're going to reach everyone, most likely because they have to pay taxes. This is the one to go with, right? Because you could pretend to be, I don't know, an internet provider, but the odds of you hitting that, all the same customers of that internet provider, it reduces your chance of being successful. We know with the CRA, most people, if not all, have to pay taxes every year or have to file their taxes anyways. So then why not pick something that will touch upon the entire Canadian population? So I think that's why the CRA is popular. Also, it's scheduled. It's every March. So, they're going to send emails. Criminals are going to send emails pertaining to be the CRA. And this is really interesting because it goes back to most tips that I give when you receive an email from a company that you do have a relationship with and you do, business with, is that don't trust the link that they give you. Go back to the source. So if you're logging in, you get an email pertaining to be your financial institution and there was a transaction, click here to respond yes or no. Go back, do your online banking using the website that is at the back of your banking card. The same thing with the CRA. They have a very secure portal. If they send you a note, you should just go back to that portal. Don't click on the link they give you. Just go back to the original portal and put in your information. So what we're going to see and what we've seen in the past is that the CRA has issued you a refund. Click here to accept it via Interac e-transfer. Often for me, I've received them and I still haven't, and I didn't file my taxes. That kind of comes up as, interesting that they're giving me a refund and I'm not getting, and I haven't filed yet. So, the promise of free money is where people kind of fall victim to. So anytime that they get kind of a link, an email, we know that the CRA communicates in a way that it reroutes you to their portal. And I think that's the general tip. Just always go back to the original source of the organization that you're dealing with.
I don't expect you to guess whether or not every text or every phone call is real, but just take a second to go, wait a minute. If it's, how do you describe this? If it sounds too good to be true, it's probably too good to be true.
Does it pass the smell test?
That's what we used to say.
They were, he was looking for somebody who's going to be on his side because he already distrusted the credit card companies. The website looked good. Everything was slick. They were friendly. And the initial consultation was very, what's the word I'm looking for?
Well, friendly.
Amiable. I guess friendly is the right word.
That's an excellent way. And I mean, you're right. Yep. He used those words that, they're on their side and, you want someone who's on your side. And obviously he doesn't trust the banks and the credit companies and all the rest of it. So.
Well, and he'd done his homework, so he knew about bankruptcy. He'd heard about consumer proposals and credit counseling and debt consolidation. He also thought they had some fifth option. Of course, they didn't.
Well, and that's you're right. That's exactly right. So I think it's not really his fault that he got kind of, sucked in, if you want to use that word. I mean, they have a fantastic sales pitch. We're on your side. And of course, they don't make it clear what their fees are up front. And so is the fact that they don't make clear what their fees are the biggest problem you have with them?
The biggest problem is that they don't do anything useful.
Well, that's a problem.
I mean, they take your information, they'll send it to a trustee. The trustee does all the work because legally we're required to. So that means they're preparing the paperwork, they're communicating with your creditors, they're processing all of the transactions that happen during your proposal. The debt consultant makes a sales pitch to an unsuspecting individual, collects their fee, and in some cases, it's many thousands of dollars. I mean, this guy paid all that money that he could have used for something else.
We could have done the whole show in one word.
We could have.
Verify. That's the key. So anything that is even just a little bit, you know what?
Well, even if something seems reasonable, there's nothing wrong with ever taking that step to make sure that the source is what it says it is.
Yeah, it's as simple as that. And obviously, you want to have your password protection and everything on your computer and all that stuff. But I think that's what it comes down to: is you got to be a bit skeptical.
Yeah. I mean, we say this on every one of our shows. It's the only one interested in your financial well-being is you. You got to take interest in your own affairs. And part of those is, skepticism of what somebody's offering or presenting to you.
Yeah. Trust but verify.
There you go.
We don't want you to be some cynical.
We have international arms negotiation. Trust but verify.
Trust but verify. That's the key. I think if you do that, then a lot of these problems go away. And let's face it, we're all in a new world here.
Right.
I'm not used to recognizing AI stuff because it hasn't been around my whole life. Hasn't been around for the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, now it's taken over.
And now it's taken over. Absolutely. Are we even real? That's I think the question for the people today. So what you want to do is obviously verify, but if you know a human being that you can call, probably one of your kids who's more sophisticated than we are, it's like, okay, I got this email. What do you think?
Right.
And hopefully by doing that, you kind of...
I mean, the real crime about all of this stuff, other than the fact that scamming is a crime, is it reduces your whole...
which is why perhaps every now and then you should go talk to a real human being.
There you go.
Face to face, kind of hard to scam you. So there you go. Be vigilant, trust but verify. And we just wanted to show you a few things that are out there. So hopefully that helped. Thanks for watching. Smash that like button, hit the subscribe, and don't forget to click that bell for new show notifications. Until next time, I'm Doug Hoyes. That was Debt Free in 30.